They looked at you and decided fast. They said, okay, I know what this is. She's doing the thing. She's making me earn it. She's playing the game. And they felt good about that read. They felt sharp, like they caught something other people miss. And then something shifted, and it hit them. All at once or slowly, but either way, it landed hard. They had you completely embarrassingly wrong. This is about you. And the fact that you don't perform your coolness, you don't curate it, you don't weaponize it, you just are cool. And that difference is what has this person spun around right now. Because they came in expecting to eventually catch you caring, expecting the composure to crack, expecting that at some point the mask would slip and you'd reach for them the way people usually do. And you just didn't. Not because you were playing hard to get, because there was nothing to play. You're not withholding, you're selective, you're not acting unavailable, you're actually not automatically available. You are not playing hard to get. You are hard to get. And they figured that out way later than they wanted to. Let me tell you what this person looks like from where I'm sitting. You're dealing with someone who is used to reading people. That's their skill. They walk into a room and they know. They know who wants them, who's faking, who's hoping, who's pretending they don't care. They've trusted that ability for a long time. And then there's you, and with you, that whole system goes quiet. You do something to their ability to read energy. You short circuit it, and they hate that. And they are absolutely hooked on it at the same time. Hating something and coming back for it anyway, that's exactly where they are right now. This isn't just a thought they have in the background. This is physical for them. When your name comes up, when someone mentions you, when something reminds them of you, when you walk into a space they're in, something hits their chest. Like a clench or a drop, something involuntary that happens before their brain catches up. And this is someone who likes control. People probably see them as composed, put together, someone who doesn't unravel in public, someone who doesn't look like they lose. And then there's you, and the composed thing doesn't hold. They'll be doing something totally unrelated, working, laughing, talking, and you just come in, not invited, just there. Your face, something you said, the way you moved, the way you didn't move toward them, and the times you didn't look at them is what gets them the most, because you weren't withholding attention like a tactic. You were just living. You were just being yourself. And the fact that they weren't the automatic center of your attention wasn't a message. It was just the truth of how you move. And it hit them harder than any amount of deliberate eye contact ever could. And you already know something is happening when they're around. You felt the energy shift. You've noticed the way they recalibrate, the way they track you without making it obvious. You're not oblivious. You just don't reorganize your whole day around what you notice. Because you have this quality where you can be fully aware of something and still not be visibly moved by it. You take things in, you process, and you don't perform a reaction. You don't give people the satisfaction of watching you respond in real time. Some people call that cold. Some people call it intimidating. Some people decide you're guarded, damaged, playing games, emotionally unavailable. But that's not what this is. This is self-control that isn't an act. This is someone who is actually in charge of themselves. And the people who get close enough to see the difference, the ones who get past the surface read, they don't find you cold at all. They find you consuming, addictive, unignorable, the most interesting person in the room by a significant margin. This person got past the surface read, and now they cannot look away. And that's exactly where you want someone before you decide anything. You want the ones who stay past the first assumption. You want the ones who get curious instead of quitting. They got curious. Now we watch what they do with it, because here's the disarming part. You know, and you don't need. Most people, when they realize someone is that into them, they do something with it. They move toward it. They use it. They let it change their behavior. They let it show. You just keep going. Keep being in your own life. And that makes this person feel like they're losing something they never even had. Here's the specific thing that makes your situation different. When they first clocked you, when they made that assumption that you were playing hard to get, they didn't just observe, they adjusted. Maybe not in a big obvious way, maybe subtle, but they recalibrated based on what they thought they were seeing. They decided, if she's playing it cool, I'll be cooler. If she's not reaching, I'm not reaching. If she's unbothered, I'll be untouchable. They mirrored you, except they were mirroring a performance that was not a performance. They invented a game, decided you were playing it, learned the rules, and then played it back at you. And the whole time you were just being yourself, not strategizing, not calculating, not trying to win, just living in your own energy, not tracking theirs, not watching their temperature and adjusting yours. And when it finally clicked for them that you weren't doing any of this on purpose, there's this quiet internal moment of, oh, I had this completely wrong. And it was not small. It was a full recalibration, like lifting something you thought was one weight and it turns out to be a completely different weight. Your whole body has to adjust. You cannot pretend you knew. That's what you did to them. And here's what you need to hear. That realization did not make them want you less. It made the wanting worse, because now they understand something they cannot unknow. They cannot outlast you. They cannot wait you out. There's no version of this where you eventually crack because they got distant back, because you weren't waiting for their availability in the first place. You were just living your life, and they were just a part of your life you hadn't fully decided about yet. And something about that, the fact that you haven't fully decided, means there's still everything to play for. So now they're moving carefully, not quickly, not with the usual confidence, carefully, like someone who knows the stakes and doesn't want to blow it. You are free. And they don't know what to do with someone who is genuinely free and not performing it. For some of you, this person said something about you early, a friend, a coworker, somebody. They talk like they had it handled, like just watch. And now there's this quiet discomfort because people around them are aware and they still haven't made a real move. There's a low-level embarrassment they would never admit out loud. They spoke like they already had you, and you are still exactly as free as you were before they opened their mouth. For others of you, they said nothing to nobody. It's locked inside, and that can be louder because it's been building with no outlet, no one to say it to. No way to let it breathe, just sitting there getting bigger. Same obsession, different costume. Now I'm going to say something uncomfortable directly. This person wants to put their name on you in some way. And I'm not going to dress it up as pure romance. There's a territorial edge to it that isn't entirely healthy yet. Not threatening. More like, you have disrupted something in me and I don't know where to put it. When you're around other people, talking, laughing, existing near someone who isn't them, something in them goes tight. They don't like it. And what makes it worse is that you don't belong to them. You haven't agreed to anything. You haven't given them a claim. You're not waiting around to give it either. So they're possessive over something that isn't theirs. And they know that. And knowing it doesn't fix it. In group settings, they do this thing where they subtly show you off without making it obvious. They want it known. They want people aware. There's pride there that would embarrass them if they stopped to look at it too closely. Because you're the kind of person people notice. And they notice people noticing, and it lights them up and irritates them at the same time. You already know you have that effect. You walk in and a room clocks you, and you don't have to try that hard for a space to become aware of you. And you've been underestimated because of it. People see the surface and make a full decision about you before they've actually met you. They assume you need attention. They assume you chase validation. They assume you'll soften for the right flattery. And then they watch you. And they realize you're not what they expected. You're not chasing anything. You don't need their attention to feel okay about yourself. You weren't waiting for them to notice you. That quiet moment where they realize they had you wrong, that is your power. Whether you do it on purpose or it's just who you are. And if this is your person, you already know. Now here's something about them you'll recognize. They are intuitive, actually intuitive. They read undercurrents. They catch what people don't say. They tend to know what's behind what's being said. That's their thing. Except with you, it breaks down. Because you don't have a secret layer running underneath the surface. There's no gap between who you are and what you're presenting. What they see is what you are. And for someone who has built their whole way of navigating people on the assumption that everybody is hiding something, you are disorienting, not because you're complicated, because you're whole. They keep looking for the crack, the wound, the thing you're protecting, the real feeling you're trying not to show. And they can't find it because it's not there. And I need to be clear. This is not the same thing as being closed off. This is not being guarded because you got hurt and built walls. That's not your energy. You're not hiding. You're not running an internal protection program. You are not damaged into hardness. You're just someone who knows themselves, someone who knows what they're worth, someone who doesn't give access away just because someone asked for it. There is a difference between being closed because something broke you and being selective because you value yourself. You are the second one. And people get it wrong about you all the time. They eventually figure it out. And by then, you've already made peace with the fact that they didn't see you right away. You don't wait around to be understood. You just are who you are. And that fascinates them in a way they can't explain and cannot shake. For some of you, they made a move that didn't land the way they planned. Maybe they came in too strong and felt you step back half an inch. Maybe they said something that came out wrong and they've replayed it ever since. Maybe they thought you had a moment and then something shifted and they couldn't tell if it was real or imagined. Either way, there's something they did or said that they are still reviewing in the back of their head, trying to locate the exact second it went sideways. For others, they haven't made a real move at all. They're still watching, still cataloging, still telling themselves they're gathering information before they act. But what's really happening is they're scared. Rejection from you doesn't feel like regular rejection. It feels like a verdict, and they're not ready to find out. Let me stay in their body for a second. When they think about being with you, really with you, it's not general desire, it's specific. They want your full attention, not partial, not you half present, not you giving them leftovers while your mind is somewhere else. All of it. Turn toward them. And they want it not because they earned it with a performance, but because you genuinely wanted to give it. That distinction matters to them. They've had attention before. They know the difference between someone performing interest and someone actually being there. And the thing they can't stop thinking about is what it would feel like to have you fully, genuinely there. When you're close to them, there's a pull in their gut that sits heavy and warm and insistent. When you say something that catches them off guard, when you laugh and they're close enough to hear the real version, not the across the room version. When you look at them directly, which you don't do constantly, which is exactly why it hits the way it does when you do. And when you're not around, the absence has texture. Like the room registered you and then registered you leaving, and the space between those moments has weight. They notice things about you at a level they probably shouldn't be noticing. The way you hold yourself when you're listening. The difference between your polite smile and your real amusement. Tiny things you don't even know you do. They know. They've been paying that kind of attention. And they're a little embarrassed by how much mental space you've taken without asking. You didn't come in and request that real estate. They gave it to you. Slowly, incrementally, without meaning to. And now you're in there and they don't know how to get the space back. They don't have clean language for what this is. They just know it doesn't happen with other people. And that's why this feels like something they can't walk away from the way they walk away from something normal. They've tried to file it somewhere manageable. And it refuses to be filed. It keeps showing back up. It's there when they wake up. And that's the part that concerns them most. They want you in a way that has gotten a little consuming. Not in a way that should scare you. In a way that is real, significant, and more than they planned for. And they're a little wrecked by it. And I keep coming back to you because there's something I want to name. You are someone who has paid attention to yourself. You know what you like. You know what you don't. You know what feels right, even when you can't explain why. You built a life inside your own instincts and you trust them. That is not small. Most people spend years shaping themselves around what they think others want. They perform a version they believe will be accepted. They soften, sharpen, shrink, expand, all based on someone else's expectations. You don't, and people can feel that. They might not have words for it, but they know the usual moves don't work. They know their presence alone doesn't buy them access to you, and that knowledge changes how they move around you. It makes them slower, more careful, more real. Which is probably what you've wanted all along. Not someone performing for you, not someone running a script they learned on someone else. Just someone showing up as an actual person and letting that be enough. This person is getting there, slowly. Slower than they want to. So what's coming? This doesn't stay still. They're building toward a moment. Not a grand gesture, not dramatic, a quiet move, something that looks casual when it happens, but has a lot sitting underneath it. A question that sounds offhand but isn't. A sentence with real weight, dressed up like it doesn't have any. And when it happens, you will feel it. You'll know. Not because they'll be obvious about it, because you read people too. You just don't announce that you do. And before that moment gets here, hear me. You don't have to respond any particular way. You don't have to become easier to catch just because they finally found a better approach. Your standards are not a level someone unlocks by persistence. They are just your standards. They're just you. And whoever ends up with you will have to actually deserve to be there. For some of you, you have feelings too. This isn't one-sided. You've been watching this unfold and something has been happening on your side even if you haven't shown it. And when they make that move, you'll have a real choice in front of you. Not the performance of a choice, the actual thing. For others, you genuinely don't know yet. And that's okay. You don't need to know yet. Being hard to get doesn't mean being permanently inaccessible. It means you don't hand yourself over before you're ready. That's not a game. That's self-respect. Last thing, there are a lot of people who confuse being wanted with being valuable. They build their worth around whether someone is chasing them. They check their phone and let the result decide how they feel about themselves for the next hour. You are not one of those people. You know what you're worth, whether this person or any person is currently losing their mind over you. You don't restructure yourself to be more catchable. You don't dim something real about yourself to make someone comfortable. You don't perform softness you don't feel, and you don't perform indifference you don't feel either. You're just in your life, fully in it, without apology for taking up the space you take up. And you've been misread for it your whole life. People have called you cold, intimidating, hard to get close to. Sometimes not even as an insult, just because they don't have a framework for someone who is actually okay on their own. Because most people aren't. Most people have a quiet emergency running underneath everything they do. And when they meet someone who doesn't, it feels like a provocation. Like a dare. And you're not daring anyone. You're just whole. And it's so rare it stops people in their tracks. They try to explain it as a strategy. They look for the trick. They search for the lever that will make you need them. There isn't one. Because you are not a puzzle to be solved. You are not half of something waiting to be completed. You're whole. And the right person, the one who is meant to be in your life in a real lasting way, won't try to fix that about you. They won't treat your independence like a challenge to conquer. They won't try to manufacture need in you to soothe their own insecurity. They'll sit down next to the wholeness and recognize it, respect it, and feel genuinely lucky to be near it. And this person, whether they end up being that person or not, is starting to understand what they would be getting. They thought you were running a play. They figured out you don't run plays. And now they're somewhere right now in the middle of their day or staring at the ceiling at night, trying to figure out how to be someone worth your actual time. Not your attention, your time. And that difference is the whole thing. So here's what happens next. They stop trying to decode you like a problem because they finally understand there is nothing to decode. You're not a pattern. You're a person. And once that lands, they have two options. They can keep playing the old way, keep posturing, keep trying to win, or they can get honest. And this is the part where you'll notice the difference. It won't be loud. It won't be some dramatic confession in a doorway. It will be small, but it will be clean. They will start speaking to you like someone who is not trying to impress you, like someone who is trying to be understood by you. They will ask questions they can't fake. They will hold eye contact a second longer than they meant to. They will stop trying to look like they don't care, not because they're unraveling, because they're done pretending they're unaffected. And you will feel it immediately, because you can feel when someone is performing and when someone is showing up. You always could. This is the moment where they start making their moves in a way that risks something. Not a soft launch, not a vibe, not a hint dropped with plausible deniability, a real move. And it might come out awkward. It might come out too careful. They might overthink the sentence so hard you can hear the effort in it, but it will be real. And the reason it will matter is because this person is not used to risking their image. They are used to being the one who can always exit first. They are used to staying just detached enough that nothing can touch them. They are used to always having the upper hand. You make that impossible because you don't grab for them. You don't chase. You don't try to lock them down. So if they want proximity, they have to walk towards you without a guarantee. That terrifies them. And it also makes them feel alive. Now let's talk about the thing underneath all of this, the thing they won't say out loud yet. They want to be chosen by you, not collected, not accepted, chosen. They want to feel you decide. They want to feel you turn toward them on purpose. Because they can tell you don't hand that out. They can tell you're not the kind of person who gets swept up just because there's chemistry. You might feel it. You might even enjoy it, but you still choose. And that is the part of you that makes people either grow up or go away. So watch them. Watch what they do when they realize they cannot speed you up. Watch what they do when they realize they cannot pull you into intensity to make themselves feel secure. Watch what they do when they realize the only way to get closer is to be consistent. Not charming, consistent, not impressive, clear, not hot and cold, steady. Because this is where their real character starts showing. And your job is simple. You don't have to punish them. You don't have to reward them. You don't have to test them. You just keep being you. Let their actions stack. Let their words match. Let time do what it does. If they're the kind of person who only likes the chase, they'll start getting restless. They'll start needing you to react. They'll start trying to pull something out of you so they can feel in control again. And if they do that, you'll see it. And you won't have to explain anything. You'll just get quieter because you don't argue with misalignment. You notice it. But if they're the kind of person who can handle a real woman with a real life and real standards, then they'll settle. They'll stop trying to own you and start trying to know you. They'll stop trying to win and start trying to build. They'll stop trying to be your exception and start trying to be your match. And that's when it gets dangerous. Not chaotic dangerous, intimate dangerous. The kind of dangerous where something real could actually happen. Because your type of cool isn't distance, it's integrity. And when you finally let someone in, it's not a performance. It's not cute. It's not a game. It's serious. And they can sense that. That's why they keep hovering at the edge of it. Because they want it. And they're scared of it. So when they make that quiet move, when they ask that question that sounds casual but isn't, when they offer something that costs them a little pride, you're going to feel the moment open. And you get to decide what you do with it. You can meet them there. You can let the door crack. You can give them 1 inch and watch whether they respect it, or you can leave it closed. Not out of fear, out of clarity, because you are not a prize someone wins by trying harder. You are a life someone earns access to by being the kind of person who belongs in it. And if they're serious, they'll understand that immediately. They'll stop asking, how do I get her? And they'll start asking, how do I show up right? How do I be safe? How do I be steady? How do I be worth it? Because you don't need to be chased. You need to be met. And if they can meet you, really meet you, then this becomes something that doesn't burn out. It becomes something that holds. And if they can't, then they were never your person. They were just someone who got close enough to recognize what they can't fake. Either way, you stay whole. And that's the part nobody can stand and everybody secretly wants. Someone who doesn't need to be chosen to feel chosen. Someone who doesn't beg the world to love them. Someone who simply lives. And lets the right people step closer without losing herself in the process. These readings keep going because of you, truly. If you've been here for a while and you want to support the channel, you can do it through Super Thanks. Even a $20, $30, or $50 contribution genuinely helps keep these readings coming, and it means more to me than you know. Every single bit of support is felt and so deeply appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button and share this video with someone you know who might need this message today. You never know who's been waiting for this kind of confirmation. If you want to go even deeper and be part of this community in a closer way, consider joining the channel as a member. It's a beautiful way to stay connected and support the work at the same time. I genuinely love doing these readings for you, and I love this community so much. Thank you for being here, thank you for watching, and thank you to all the channel members and everyone who supports in any way. None of it goes unnoticed. Sending you so much light, love, and positivity. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.